W7 Live. Welcome Sunday night. Let me add on our special guests. They couldn't make it, so we're going to put these two guys on. Let's see. Here we go. I'll be A, add you be B.
Yeah, we'll fill in.
You know what? The technology, I tell you guys what. Hey, we're almost there. Hey, there we go. The crew is on. Ed Rowie, can you hear me?
All right.
Loud and clear.
And Connor Du Bois, the voice of the North.
The voice of the North is here.
Voice of the North is here. All right. Hey, welcome, guys. And welcome to all of you. Sunday night live. I'm going to make a couple conditions, first of all. We've been doing these live shows for a couple main reasons. One, I think it's always fresher when it's live, and plus when things go wrong, we can panic more and make it more interesting for you guys, more drama. But really, the other reason is we want it to be interactive with you guys. So here's the deal. I need you guys to put comments in the comment box so we can respond to them and talk to you about what we're hearing. Because if you don't, what we're going to start doing is just start recording these, and then we'll just upload them. Because that's actually quite a bit easier to do than doing live shows. But I prefer to do live, but if you guys don't want to talk, hey, that's fine. We can just do recorded shows. Which, again, hey, no worries if you don't want to. But if you're so inclined, please put your comments in. We'd love to hear from you guys tonight. We are just fresh off of 3 graduations this week: Kewaskum, Germantown, and Slinger. Germantown and Slinger both today. Connor was in Slinger, and I was in Germantown. And congratulations to those kids, and of course all the kids around the state graduating this May and June, the class of 2023. Hard to believe it. When we first started, it was the class of 2017. So we're getting, I guess W7 is getting old. It's going to be 7 here before too long. Anyway, we're going to get into some softball tonight. We got a couple things to bring to you guys tonight. I've got some materials here we're going to show you, so we'll take our pretty faces off and put that on. But there's 2 things I want to talk about tonight. Number 1, first and foremost, is our softball preview. And number 2, I've been teasing this all weekend, is a big announcement from W7. And I think probably go with the announcement first. What do you guys think?
We can put it somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Put it in the middle.
No, you go with it.
You
lead it off.
You go, just like a Band-Aid, right? Just rip it off.
I immediately reached out to you. I immediately reached out to you. I said I had to know right then and there. So I can only imagine those people that are checking in right now. They want to know.
Yeah, and if you see me looking off camera, I'm actually sharing my MacBook here, so I'm looking at the screen on that. So, okay, so without further ado, we'll get into the announcement itself. This is our 6th year of doing girl sports, and it's, to us, it's as fresh as it was from day one. And we obviously just enjoy what we do, enjoy bringing you girl sports. And one thing that we've kind of always felt is for us, the season kind of ends at the at the sectionals, which get that, just because that's kind of how it's structured. The state rights belong to Rush Media, and We Are Young Media, I believe is who it is. So we can't do any video live streams. However, what we can do is audio live streams. And so the announcement that we have for you all tonight, and this, I think, is the biggest announcement in W7 history. Let me see. Now my screen is.
Say it.
Hang on.
Use your 1950s vernacular. Come on. Cattywampus or something along those lines. Come on, you can do it.
My screen has gone all butterwhackers on me here.
There it is.
All right, well, I'm just going to say it. So I had this up on text, but I'll tell you guys. So we believe all players and teams who've qualified for this year's state tournament deserve a moment in the spotlight. So we are proud to announce that we will be live streaming, audio only, all 19 games of the 2023 WIAA State Softball Tournament. All of our games will be live streamed on both our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and will be, as always, 100% free and 100% live for everyone. So let me pause there. Ed, first of all, your reaction.
This is big. This is something we've really worked hard to get. It's something that I know you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes trying to get. It's worked out really well with basketball. You just pause your TV, let the three of us talk. You don't have to. We get it if you turn us off. But to W7, we're really excited. This is something we've worked really hard for, and we know that this is just a step for us that's just going to reach out to more people, and the reach in general is just going to be so much better for us and our product, and we're excited for it, and we hope you are as well.
Connor, thoughts?
Yeah, really excited about it. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, kind of our season ends somewhere around that sectional round and kind of the following. And I know when I was doing the Michigan game last Thursday, everybody's like, "Oh, are you going to be down at state? Are you doing any state games?" And at the time, I didn't know. I was like, "Well, maybe not." But this will definitely be a great experience, obviously for us, but also for a lot of the kids that we follow that are there with their teams, that will be able to provide a little bit more of a personal, broadcast, because we know so many of the kids that have made it, and it's just gonna be a great time for everybody.
Well, and here's my thoughts on this too, you guys. And all of the state games are not televised. In fact, the only games that are televised is Championship Saturday, unless you buy an NFHS subscription. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't, but it's not free to watch. It is available on video if you buy a subscription. So, I mean, it's not like you can't watch it, but to the masses, that's not something people are necessarily going to go out and do for, 3 days of games. I think, the other thing too is, yes, the games are going to be audio live streamed by other radio stations, production companies around the state. But as far as I know, there's only one that's going to do every game, which I think it makes it nice for families in that they can go to one place for any game that they want to hear about all postseason. I mean, it's a one-stop shop for the entire state tournament.
You're right, and that's something a lot of people don't even think about, because if you just look at the basketball tournament, all those games are on TV. Every single game at state is on TV. It is not the case, as you said, for softball. So to have the radio call of every single game, all 19 games, as you've said, that's a big deal. That's a real big deal, and that's why I keep mentioning it, because that's important to us. And like you said, it's a one-stop shop, and anybody, you just click on it, there it is. You can stay into, pop in, listen to us for a little bit, find out the score, go finish it doing what you're doing, come back to us.
And Connor, I mean, the other thing, and I think, this hits for you and I especially, just because we've done so many softball games, together this year and apart this year. If you look at Saturday, so Championship Saturday, there will be 14 teams in Championship Saturday. There's 24 teams in the state tournament, which means 10 teams, almost half of the field, is eliminated before they even get a chance to be on television. Or at least get, yes, they're going to get their moment in the sun at Goodman Diamond. I get that. And I've been the first to say, and I'll continue to say, nobody puts on a better show than the WIAA state tournament. And you could pick any event you want. I've seen them all. They do a fantastic, if you are there in person, they do a great job at promoting the kids and really making it feel like a big game day experience. Of course, they're playing at Goodman Diamond, the home of the Badgers, which of course, makes it even, better for the kids. But if you're stuck at work, because it's Thursday or Friday, Ed, I mean, this. If you're stuck at work, Thursday and Friday, I mean, you can't be there. And hey, maybe you're going to take the day off for your kids and for your grandkids, but for nieces and nephews and cousins and friends and club coaches, they can't always do that.
Well, there's so much going on this time of year too, and I mean, last time we had a live stream at state. That was myself and Andy Scarta up at UWGB during the COVID year. And for a radio audio only call, we were hitting 300 to 350 devices just on YouTube alone. Now, granted, limited attendance, So you don't expect that this time. That'd be great, no doubt about it. But I mean, there's a big time need for it, obviously, and hopefully we can deliver. And so many people were saying that they were checking in. They're at the office and they couldn't, they couldn't listen or watch a game, say on the NFHS network, but they were happy that they could put it on YouTube, put the phone on the desk with the speaker or whatever, and listen to it or broadcast it across the shop at work for everybody to listen to for those smaller communities.
And that's really, again, the main reason we're doing it is we want to promote all of the kids in this year's state tournament. It is not an easy thing to get to a state tournament. I never was fortunate to make it as an athlete. I don't think you guys did either. I mean, it's rare air to get there. And, yes, we want to promote everybody, but I really want to make sure that we don't miss out on an opportunity to recognize those kids that have made the accomplishments that they've made to get there and to celebrate them. And that's really what this weekend is going to be about. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all day, starting Thursday at 8 o'clock in the Division I quarterfinals, all the way to Saturday night at the Division finals, the very last game. We'll be there, 19 games, every one of them live. Now you may ask, hey, how are you doing this? So you guys know there are fees to the WIAA that are involved for us to live stream games. So in this case, it's about $2,000 for us to live stream all of these games. And I'm just going to say this up front. We're going to do it no matter what. I'm going to fund it, no matter what. What I'm asking for is if you own a business, if you own a club, or if you're just supportive of what we're doing and would like to help us cover the costs of doing this event, because it was unplanned, unbudgeted. It was just something that came to us and said, hey, we really need to be doing this. We would love your support to help us out and to help offset some of these costs. So info@productionsw7, just shoot me an email or DM me or text me, whatever. But let us know. We'd love to be able to mention your name. And by the way, we're not asking for charity here. So if you're an organization that does that your target market is teenagers and adults from 18 to 80, we're your company, and I guarantee you, you're gonna get more than your money's worth on a sponsorship this weekend, because we're gonna be live for 36 hours. So I mean, you're gonna get plenty of FaceTime, and we'll make sure that you get every nickel's worth. So let me know. We'd love to partner with you and to help kind of offset this, and again, make it a special event for the kids. info@productionsw7.com. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm going to show you our promo video for this event, and then we'll come back and start our softball state preview. And this is why we're obviously doing the preview shows, because we're going to be doing all of these games. Makes sense. Let's talk about state and what's going to be happening this year. Again, my Mac does not seem to be cooperating, so we'll have to go I guess we'll go radio, guys. I don't know what else we can do. We're going to have to go radio on our state preview, but we've got the information ready. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. You're watching and soon to be listening to W7 Radio and our coverage of this year's WIAA State Softball Tournament, and it'll be live on W7. We will be right back.
To left center, over the head and left. 1 run in, 2 runs in.
Come together right now over me. Right.
W7 back live for the state softball preview show. And again, no luck on my Mac, so I'll just go off my notes here. Let's start with Division 5. So obviously 4 teams. There's 4 teams in every division except Division 1, which has 8 teams. Starting in Division 5, number 1 seed is Pacelli. So Pacelli is 26-1. And Connor, we know Pacelli, right? I mean, we got to see them not this year, but we did see them last year in the St. Mary Springs Triangular. And I can tell you most of those kids are back this year. The player to keep an eye on this year is going to be Peyton Mansell from Pacelli. You'll want to watch her. Pacelli went 26-1, first place in the Central Wisconsin South. Just a quick note, they defeated McDonald Central 13-3 on May 13th. And why that's important is their first game in the state tournament is against number 4 McDonald Catholic. So they played them just about 2.5 weeks ago. They also defeated Roshold, Wild Rose, Almond Bancroft, and Newman Catholic. They have won their games by a combined score of 45-2. So they're going to be. I mean, that's pretty solid. 45-2.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of these teams, taking nothing away from Pacelli, I think that's a theme. When we go through all this, you're going to hear a lot of large gaps because these teams, they got to state because they're really, really good. But Pacelli can swing it, no doubt about it. But it all starts in the circle, and you're only allowing 2 runs throughout the entire run. I think you're putting yourself in a real good spot.
Yeah, agree. Second seed is Assumption, and don't make any assumptions about this team. They are the defending state champions in D5. There it is. They beat Barneveld last year at the state championship game. In fact, I got the privilege of calling that game with John Satterfield from South 78 Radio last year. This year they finished first in the Merriwood South. And the defending state champions, they defeated Elvira Strum, Port Edwards, Columbus Catholic, Seneca, and have outscored their opponents 41-1. So the 2-seed Assumption looking for back-to-back championships. I gotta wonder if maybe they feel a little slighted. Hey, we're defending champs. We're gonna get number 2, and Pacelli gets number 1. I wonder how that's gonna sit in the clubhouse. Number 3 is Oakfield. Oakfield's 24-3, first place in the Trailways North. They defeated Fall River 15-0, Johnson Creek 6-2, Barneveld, the aforementioned Barneveld, and I got to give a shout out to my buddy Nicky Fahey from Barneveld. Would have loved to see you play one more time, kiddo. Congratulations on a fantastic career at Barneveld High School. Wish you all the best going forward. And then they beat Belmont 7-5. I caught up with my buddy Todd Plummer. Ed, you know Todd Plummer from Slinger, otherwise known as Maggie's dad.
Yep.
So Todd and I talked this week. In fact, he asked me, he said, hey, you guys should look at doing an Oakfield game next year. They're really good because they have 3 kids on our club team that are just fantastic. So I'm going to just point them out right now. Alvea Robinson is the center fielder. She's a junior. She hit 600 in the regular season with 14 doubles. There's your big hitter right there. Allie Lamonska, the pitcher, is Oakfield's number 1 pitcher, and then Stella Hoffman in left field hit 500, 2 home runs, got a cannon for an arm, and hits rockets. So keep an eye on left field. Hey, if you're rounding third headed for home, and you're against Oakfield, and you can get a single to left, you better double think on that on the last 60 feet with Hoffman out in left field. So that's Oakfield. They're number 3, and the McDonald Catholic is number 4. Second place in the Clover Belt West, they defeated Thorpe, Eau Claire Emmanuel Lutheran, Athens, and Northwood Solon Springs. They finished second. They're going to play Pacelli in that first round. And you got to say, I mean, they're certainly going to be a heavy underdog in that game, having just lost them 13-3. But, Connor, one thing that we've learned through the playoffs this year has been when it comes to the playoffs versus the regular season?
It's a whole different ball game. And there have been a lot of, I guess you could say, you can call them upsets, but some revenge games throughout the course of the way to Goodman Diamond that they've won in the regular season, but they've gotten them back when it really mattered come June and late May, early June.
Yeah, I don't know that 13-3 2 weeks ago means a whole lot. It was a regular season. It was a Saturday game. And the other thing, too, with Saturdays, I mean, you got proms, you got graduations, you got senior balls, you got, all these other things. And sometimes you have kids who aren't there that should be there or, couldn't make it or whatever. So, Ed, being a former coach, I mean, there's a whole lot of things that happen from the 1st of May until the playoffs start that you can't necessarily take those numbers with, too much seriousness.
No, and that's a theme throughout all the levels is that you're playing on a whole different field now. You are on Goodman Diamond. Everything changes. The past goes away. Everything is fresh and new. and it's a huge experience. And some of these teams, a good majority of them, have never been to Goodman, or these players haven't been there. So it's going to be a whole new experience. And so what happened last week, last month, doesn't matter. What happens is what happens in front of you that moment this weekend.
So I'm going to give you my predictions for D5. I believe it's going to go chalk to Pacelli and Assumption will both win. Pacelli over McDonald Catholic and Assumption over Oakfield. But I think Assumption beats Pacelli in the championship game. So I'm going to go Assumption to win Division 5. Now, I know Peyton's already got steam coming out of her ears hearing that, but at Pacelli. But, there's something to be said, and Ed, just go back to what we were talking about. There's something to be said about having been there before, and Assumption was there last year. I mean, this is familiar territory to these guys.
But yeah, they know the surroundings. They know what it feels like. I mean, even the small things like where you warm up, how the dirt feels, the depth of the outfield, the background. I mean, you're talking about a totally different background. You're not used to seeing the bleachers behind that go up that high. Everything's different. Assumption's been there. They know what that's like. But we'll see. See if your words are prophetic or not.
Well, and Connor, the last comment on this, Assumption reminds me a lot of Mishicot in the fact that they're all multi-sport athletes and they've all won in different sports. So Assumption not only going to state in softball, but they've been in state in basketball the last 2 years. And you got several players that play both sports. So to me, it's a lot of that same theme as we talked about Callie Krieger, we talked about Abby Garceau, we talked about that group, even Caitlin Callahan, you count her in that group, that played multiple sports and that are comfortable being on a big stage. Connor agrees, I believe. Okay. All right. So let's.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Let's move on to D4, and then we'll take a quick break. And I'm going to kind of go through D4 a little quickly here. I don't know a lot of these teams. Just did some research on them. But starting off, number 1 is Grantsburg. Grantsburg 26-3. They won the Lakeland West. They've won 14 in a row. And they defeated their opponents by a combined score of 40-4. They defeated Fall Creek in the sectional finals and Shell Lake in the sectional semis. So they played some pretty tough competition in the postseason, and they are the defending state champions in D4. So, I mean, they're the number 1 seed for a reason. They've got a great team, 26-3, and they won it last year. So, that's they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat. They're going to play Iola Scandinavia, which this is. To me, this is a fun team, this Iola Scandinavia team, and I'll tell you why. Number 1, they finished 3rd place in the Central Wisconsin East. They were 21-9, which, hey, pretty good record, 21-9. They defeated Oconto 12-0 in the regional semis. So they were the number 3 seed coming in. So they're number 3. The next game was number 2 Coleman. They beat them 8-2. Then number 1 Bonduelle. They beat them 9-6. Then number 1 Algoma. And they beat them 3-2. This is to me in D4, Iola Scandinavia, they're the 4 seed. They're the Cinderella story in D4. And Connor, you know that program up there, being up in the Big East area. Mishicot ran into them a couple of years ago, and I believe Random Lake ran into them last year. So solid program.
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago, Mishicot beat them on the way to the state championship.
Yes.
In a sectional final might have been. Then Iola Scandinavia got the better of Random Lake in the sectional final last year. And so they're back for the 2nd year in a row. And I think, you kind of say that Cinderella story, but for them, I think it's kind of a little bit of a chip on the shoulder and revenge tour back down to Goodman Diamond this year.
Yeah, maybe redemption this year is the better word for them. The number 2 seed is Stratford, 18-9, 3rd place in the Merriwood South. They beat Spencer, Edgar, number 1 Auburndale, and number 1 Blair Taylor. And Blair Taylor, again, another one of those programs, great in multiple sports. They were at the state basketball tournament this year. 2 years ago, they were undefeated, the number 1 seed undefeated, and lost to Judah, I believe, in the semifinals. They were able to knock off a really good Blair Taylor team. They're the number 2 seed, that's Stratford. And then number 3 is a team, Connor, I want you to just comment on this team. That's Waterloo, 15-5. They came in as the number 4 seed in their sectional. And on the last game of the year, they lost to Lake Mills 14-2. So that was their final regular season game. Then they came back. They beat Randolph. They beat number 1 Horicon. They beat number 3 Random Lake. And they beat number 1 Cuba City. So this team's on a roll and could do some I think they could do some damage in the state tournament. Connor, give me your impression on this Waterloo team from when you saw them play Random Lake. They were really good. All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
they were
ahead.
really good, and for them, I think it's just if they can keep that kind of good mojo going. Like we talked about before, it was that end of the season. You throw all that out the window, and it's who's hot right now. And then Waterloo, I think they're one of those teams that's really hot.
Yeah, agree. Hey, quick break. We're going to come back and get into D3 and D2. This will be Connor's time to shine here, and then we'll come back and finish out with D1. Remember, all 19 games this year on W7 Radio. So audio-only live streams from Goodman Diamond, all 19 games on W7. Quick break. We're coming back.
Hammered to left center. Over the head and left. 1 run in. 2 runs in.
Come together right now over me. Right.
W7 back live. Time to get into Division 3. And Connor, two games in Division 3, of course, 4 teams in that division. Number 1, Broadhead against number 4, Somerset, and number 2, Mishicot against number 3, Mayville. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of work down the matchups instead of 1 through 4.
Sure.
Broadhead first for me in this matchup. It's first time to state for both Broadhead and Somerset. So we talked about it before. It's kind of new kids on the block versus the experience in the other game. But it's an 11-2 Somerset team, or 11-12 Somerset team that finished 5th in their conference, but they have caught fire down the stretch in the playoffs. With a 7-0 win against Spooner, 2-1 win in extras against Northwestern, 6-0 against St. Croix Falls, and 2-0 against Prescott. All those games on the road. So what's another trip to Goodman Diamond at this point? They're the Road Warriors. And I actually like them against Broadhead. Their pitcher, Haley Sedum, no earned runs, and she bats, she's the number three batter. And I tell you what, if she's on her game in the circle, I really like Somerset's chances pulling off that upset against Broadhead. But Broadhead, in the same token, 11-0 against Parkview, 5-0 against Columbus. They beat a ranked team 4-0 in Marshall, and 11-0 against River Valley. So they're road to Goodman Diamond 31-0. So like I said, it's going to kind of rely on for Somerset for Sidham in the circle. If she can calm those bats for Broadhead, I really like Somerset's chances. But likewise for Broadhead, 2 great pitchers. And my key kind of for Broadhead is going to be their second pitcher, Ava Rissom. She, sometimes that first pitcher comes out, she gets hit pretty early, and then teams will switch to that second pitcher. If she can settle Broadhead in, maybe keep him in the game, I think that could be the key if they do have to switch to her. So, meanwhile, the second matchup, Mishicot and Mayville, like I said, these are kind of the old kids on the block. Mishicot making their fifth trip to state, 5th trip in 10 years. We talked about it before, 2021, they won during COVID year up at Goodman Diamond. Mayville, the other Cardinal in this D3 bracket, they're also making their 5th trip back to state, first time since 2002. So I imagine the community is going to show up and show out for them. A lot of a lot of history there. When you look at them, for me, for Mishicot, there's not one kid that stands out. It's the entirety of the lineup. And in order for Mayville to come out on top, I'm thinking they're going to have to keep the bottom of the order of Mishicot in check in Sanford, Carrico, and Schmidt. I'm not sure how many bottom of the lineups, 7, 8, and 9, you can go through and you can say they've got a combined 52 RBIs on the year. So that's pretty good production out of the bottom half of the lineup, 7, 8, 9, and then roll that back to the top for the big bats. But Mishicot, I tell you what, probably comes out of the hardest sectional. They beat Chilton, New Holstein, and Peshtigo, all ranked in the top 10 in the final coaches poll. Mishicot was also ranked 10th in that coaches poll. But, beat a good Peshtigo team, good New Holstein team. And we kind of hit on it before. Chilton got Mishicot at the Springs Triangular earlier this year. But when it mattered most, Mishicot went into Chilton, beat them 5-4, and back to state. And
Peshtigo was 26-0
in the first matchup.
Connor,
They were 26-0.
Peshtigo was 26-0, and they had shut out their last 5 opponents before playing Mishicot, and Mishicot got 6 runs in the first 3 innings.
They were not impressed with the pitching staff of Peshtigo. they kind of went in there with a mission on their mind. But so I got Somerset in the 4-1 upset, and then I've got Mishicot winning the second one. And I'm going to take Mishicot another state championship, second one in 3 years in the final over Somerset. Take Somerset and Mishicot taking it all there in that Division III matchup.
So you're picking
bulletin board material there for you, Broadhead, if you want some. I'll give it to you.
Okay, so let me just give a shout out to McKenna Young at Broadhead, because I'm sure she's probably watching, or if not, she's going to hear about this. And McKenna is all-state this year, pitcher, and just an unbelievable shortstop as well for Broadhead. So they'll probably do a screen record of your comments here and play it. I know McKenna; she's pretty competitive, so that should be fun. We love getting the kids fired up. This should do it. So McKenna, come out and prove us wrong, right, Connor? All right, so you're gonna go.
I love it. All 4 teams are solid.
Yes.
Yeah, all 4 teams are solid. You're splitting hairs at this point. And I just like the run that Somerset's been on.
Yeah,
they're
agree.
just one of those intangibles that you can't put in a box, that you can't put in a box score. And Somerset, they actually had their game. They were in the first inning of the sectional final. The field got washed out with rain. They had to go home, come back the next day, regroup, and beat a really good Prescott team. So, and here's the deal. We'll be somewhere. Hopefully we'll have our tent set up. You guys, Broadhead, you win. You come down. You
come on over, McKenna.
We'll rub it in my face. We'll post it on the social media. That's what we're there for. So promote you guys. You guys have a ton of fun. You guys get the win. Come over and rub it in my face on Friday afternoon.
So, McKenna, you heard it here first, and for the Broadhead Cardinals as well. Hey, good luck to Broadhead. They're good friends of ours on the Rock Valley Conference, and looking forward to watching those kids play. Let's So, Connor, you're picking D3 is Mishicot. I'm not sure if I mentioned a D4. Let me go back to D4 real quick. I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm going to go Grantsburg just because they've just been so solid. I mean, 2 years now, and it's a really, really good program. I like Waterloo to beat Stratford, and I like Grantsburg to beat Waterloo in a close championship game on Saturday. So that's my D4 pick. Let's move up to Division II, and we've got 2 matchups there as well. Connor, do you want to lay those out?
Yeah. So once again, this is kind of like the veteran group of all the divisions of getting teams to state. You got New Berlin Eisenhower, the number 1 seed. This will be their 7th trip, first time since 2014. New London, the 4 seed. This is their 8th trip to state. They're looking to go, this is their back-to-back trip, but they're looking to get their first win in their last 4 trips. Tough matchup, obviously, that 1-4 matchup. But for New Berlin Eisenhower, 25-4 on the year, first in the Woodland West. They've they breezed through the regional round through Catholic Memorial and Whitnall. And then a couple tight ones, Lake Mills 3-2 and Wisconsin Lutheran 1-0. Couldn't really pick a key player from New Berlin Eisenhower, but I'm going with Ellery Stoles and Ryan Nutt. 75 runs scored between the two of them this year. So if New London can keep them off the base pads, I think that's going to keep Eisenhower's runs down and keep New London in the game. Meanwhile, New London 18-6 overall, first in the Bay. Undefeated season in the Bay for the Bulldogs out there. They've run through Wapaka, number 2 seed in Mosinee. That was at Mosinee. They went out to Medford, number 1 seed there, beat them 2-1 in extra innings, and then had to go out to Mosinee again for the sectional final and beat Rice Lake 13-3. So kind of a little bit of a road warrior team as well, going out, getting those wins on the way to state. And for me, it's going to be the law firm of Mix and Mix. Jensen and Kenna. We talked about it, 60-plus runs for between the two of them. But Kenna and the Souls, if she can keep, I'm going to go with New Berlin Eisenhower in the 1-4 matchup there. Bottom half of the bracket, team just down the road, Freedom. 25-2 on the year. This is their 4th trip to state, and they're looking to defend. So kind of like Assumption in D5. The defending state champion, they're there as the number 2 seed. Little locker room bulletin board material for them. They finished second in the Northeastern behind Luxembourg Casco, who got to open the door a little bit for Freedom in this region or in their sectional. They went through Notre Dame, Denmark, conference opponent Marinette. They beat them 3-2 in 10 innings, and then beat Waupun 5-4 to get to state. But for me, it's the seniors on this squad, especially Kristen Krewalt, Sadie Jermolevich.
Yes.
Gary, you were with me up at Denmark.
Yes.
Wascom beat them. And I know it's different sports, but it's,
yes,
once again, it's seniors. It's seniors this time of year. This is your last chance. And I think, they've been in this spot way too many times. The seniors know how to conduct their business. They know how to lead this team. And those are two tremendous leaders in Krewalt and Jarmilevich. But, they're playing defense behind a kid, Peyton Vanderloo, in the circle that can just absolutely keep any team in a game. And then Turner, the number 3 seed, no title so far. And this will be their 5th trip, first time back since 2017. They finished second in the Rock Valley, 22-2 overall. Big thing for them is they split the season series.
The Rock Valley is a really good softball conference.
It is. They finished second behind Broadhead, who's the number 1 seed in Division III. So they split that season series. But easy win, 4-0 over Whitewater, 10-0 over Evansville. 8 innings to get past Monroe in the sectional semifinals, and then 6-4 over West Salem. So, Turner, they come in battle-tested, coming out of that Rock Valley Conference. I just think that extra chip on the shoulder and that senior leadership from Freedom is just a little bit too much for Turner to kind of overcome those intangibles that you just can't put in a box score. We talked on it before. All these teams have been there before. However, Freedom's back. They're looking to defend. They know where to practice. They know where the hotel is. They know what time the bus has to leave. When you get to the dime, they know all those little extra things to not be distracted by when you walk in. Holy cow! It's the entire side is green. The entire side is neon yellow. Those are our state shirts, whatever. They walk in, they do their business, they warm up, and they tend to business. So I'm going to take Freedom over Turner. I'm also going to take New London. I'm going to go New Berlin Eisenhower over New London, and I'm going to take Freedom to repeat as the D2 state champion.
I'd go with you. I'd make one change. I think New London, being just the road warriors that they've been this postseason, I really like them. I'd like New London to maybe upset Ike in that first game. Now, this does not take away from Ike because, I mean, Ed, as you know, they played a really solid Wisconsin Lutheran team, led by Sydney Vitonkel, who is, I think you could just come out and say it. She's, 1A, 1B, or 1C, best pitcher in the state.
She had a phenomenal season. She's one of the 12 nominees for the JS Online Player of the Year. That game, that Eisenhower Wisconsin Lutheran game, there were combined 8 base runners, and it really came down to just one clutch hit. And New Berlin West they scored in the top of the 6th. They made it hold those final 2 innings in what had to be one of the fastest games. I mean, it might have been over before you got from wherever you were home. I mean, it was quick game, super quick game. And, one of those games where it's like somebody had to lose. And unfortunately for Wisconsin Lutheran, they couldn't get that run across. But Eisenhower, they're rolling right now. They're feeling real confident. Then they see that number 1 seed. That's just a cherry on top right now. And they're going to carry that confidence into this weekend.
I agree. So that'll be that to me is a really interesting matchup. I'm curious to see how that one plays out. I want to just catch up on a couple of comments here. Our buddy Tiffany Marie from Kettle Moraine. Good luck, Hayden Harley from Mayville. Morgan Schrader. Good luck, Allie Schwartz. All your hard work paid off from Mayville. This one's my favorite. The Wisconsin Wiffle Ball League checking in. Broadhead has given up 15. Broadhead has given up 15 runs, and only 7 are earned in 27 games. So 7 earned runs in 27 games. I mean, Connor, I bet you McKenna's in the backyard throwing heat right now, getting ready to come out and make you eat those words, buddy.
I said I'm perfectly fine with that, but here's the thing. That's 27 games. There's only one game being played Friday morning at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whenever that game is.
He's right.
It's at 10
He's
o'clock.
right.
So
You're
you don't
absolutely
have to
right.
be better for 27. You just have to be better for 7 innings and 21 outs. That's all you need to be better for in that day.
Ed, you know what's coming. We're going to get asked if we can start live streaming the Wisconsin Wiffle Ball League. And the answer is no, we're not doing that.
Well, the problem is, as you know, I'd be playing.
Yeah. You'd be calling your shot. And then Dwayne Dissett asking us, can you guys do WIA state baseball? Unless there's girls playing in it, probably not. So we are for the girls, but I appreciate the love as always. Ed Marks, Mayville all the way. Shout out to the Shable sisters and our buddy Eugene Maurerman from Nicolay. Good luck to all the teams that have some fun. Love you, Izzy, and look forward to catching up with you next year again with Nicolay. One last quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to hit the Division I circuit. 8 teams in D1 going to state. We'll have that for you, and then we'll close it out. You're watching the state softball preview show on W7. A reminder, all 19 state softball tournament games this year, live audio from W7. That means you go to one place to listen to any of the 19 games being played Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Goodman Diamond. One last break, and we're coming back.
Hammered to left center, over the head and left. 1 run in, 2 runs in.
Come together right now over me. Right.
W7 W7 Radio, your home for Wisconsin State softball tournament weekend starting on Thursday. 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday will be our first game. We'll get the schedule, all that stuff posted out this week. We'll have some trivia this week about the state tournament, all kinds of fun things coming. But before we get into all that, let's get into Division One. And Ed Rowie going to walk us through D1, 8 teams in this. Ed, how do you want to play this?
Let's work our way backward because
Sure.
Waterford comes in having played the most incredible game. They're going to be writing articles about this if print's still around. It'll be on the internet. How about that? In 20 years, 25 years from now, that regional game, that 3-2 game that they won, it's a game of all time. It was over Janesville Parker, 21 innings, over 5 hours long. It took 2 days to complete it, and that was just to win the regional. And then they go on, get another win, and then they beat Kettle Moraine 4-0 with a no-hitter thrown by their freshman, Jaden Kaiser. She threw 3 no-hitters during the course of the season. She's second on the team in hitting. This is a different type of team coming in with different momentum because after that 21-inning game, they felt like they could do anything. Their center fielder, Madison Krieger, Coach Krieger's daughter, she's out there flying around. She led the team in hitting. It's a different type of vibe with this group. And it's a team that's excited. They feel they belong. The problem is they're going to be going up against the 1 seed who's won 78 games in a row and is looking to three-peat in Kaukauna.
That sounds
we'll
like a joke when you say that. It sounds like you're kidding. Like it's it's too crazy of a number to be true.
It sounds mythical. Right. It sounds mythical. It sounds fake. But you know what? Waterford is up to the challenge. They're excited for this opportunity. And I think any other year they would take it, and this is their year, and they just have to go into it with the mindset it is David versus Goliath, and they understand that, and they're going to show up and show out, and you're going to see great contingent of Waterford fans that'll be there, and they're excited to play in this game.
And to beat
Kettle
Moraine,
that is the 8 seed Waterford.
To beat Kettle Moraine, Carmen Follett being a senior, really had a fantastic season our senior year, and of course, our buddy Casey Navarro, behind the plate. You got a lot of really good players there. So you got to give Waterford a lot of props for winning that game and advancing on against a tough KM team. But they're going to have their hands full. We'll get back to number 1, but let's move on to number 7, Menominee Falls.
Number 7, Menominee Falls. Coach Lou. We all know him. He's a close friend of ours.
Cooper.
We got people getting excited. Yeah, somebody's got to control them. And they've got one of your favorites in the circle, Gary, in Spicy Mustard, Kaylee Nimick. There's nobody that's more excited to play up at state than she is. It's somebody that you followed. You gave her the nickname right away freshman year of Spicy Mustard. And, talk about holding true. It really did for the Phoenix, and she's had a great senior season, and she's excited for this opportunity. First time in 5 years for the program, and they do go in a little down. Had same heat, 4-hitter, but always says everyone contributes, so it's next person up, and they're looking forward to their opportunity.
Yeah, and nothing but love to Sam Heath. Such a competitor and such a great athlete, and you just you totally just feel for the kid. To put in all that work and all over these 4 years and then not be able to be there. But you know what I found funny? So Dave Beasley was there for the sectional finals. Our photographer, our fantastic photographer. And he told me that you could hardly contain Sam from running out onto the field under crutches to go celebrate with her teammates, and just you love kids like that, and it could be a case of they it's a rallying point for Menominee Falls. I think it's a point of pride. I think I know Kaylee and I know those kids, and I know the Berge kids. I know they want Sam to go out a winner, and certainly they've got a tough road to hoe, but I think you got to watch this team. Lou Santacola, he's one of the best in the state. And he knows, hey, you may beat him, the 24th of April on a Saturday, but you start getting middle, late May, June, pretty tough to beat.
He's the godfather of the state, right? He's definitely the godfather of the area. He was someone I interacted with quite a bit when I coached, and there's nobody better. You pulling for Coach Lou, you're pulling for the team, as you said. Everybody's gonna, you didn't lose your pitcher in the circle, and at this time of year, you need that pitcher. That's the important thing. We all know that everything revolves around pitching, but hey, you still got Kaylee Nimick, Spicy Mustard's still there. They're gonna rally around Sam Heath, like you said. On to this number 6 seed,
hang on a
Sun
second.
Prairie.
Dave Heath just commented, nothing goes better with a Goodman broth than some spicy mustard.
See, I mean, you nailed that freshman year. You couldn't have done any better than that one. I hate to give you all this credit, but
I know it's killing you to do
nailed
that. Go ahead.
But hey, to the number 6 seed, first time ever, or the 6th year in a row, however you want to look at it, Sun Prairie East making their 6th straight trip. They were the runner-up a year ago. This is a talented team that's a 6 seed, and you want to talk about chip on the shoulder. Gary, they were the runner-up last year. And as Connor was just talking about, it's different this time of year. They've been through all this. They know how everything goes. This is going to be a different team. They beat Madison Memorial 7-0 to get there. The biggest one was probably their 3-2 win over Verona to win their regional. That went 10 innings. Again, when you start going extra innings, all it takes is that one play, and you could be losing and lose a game. And that didn't happen. They dug deep, got the win. You're talking about Taylor Baker in the circle going to South Dakota State.
Yeah, T-Bake is fantastic. I mean, she really is.
Yeah. And Kromschuster, Grace, going to UT Chattanooga. I mean, this is a talented team. And then up in strength, that's their strength, is up the middle, whether it's Baker in the circle, Kromschuster at short. You got Carly Gross in center, one of the 3 Grosses on the team, with Carly, McKenna, and Liliana. Again, runner-up a year ago. They've been through this, and this is a team you have to keep a close eye on.
And the other thing, too, I think a lot of people expected, Sunny P to take a step back this year, with the splitting of the schools. And, you lost Royal, who went over to the, on the west side. And, you lost some kids, from that team. And I think everybody expected, well, yeah, they're going to be good. But, it was probably not going to be your typical Sun Prairie team. Well, guess what? It's your typical Sun Prairie team. Coach
Exactly.
Hanson has them back at state. And I know these kids, and I know the Sun Prairie program. Oshkosh West, I'm telling you right now, don't start looking around the corner because Sunny P will come and get you.
On to the number 5, Oak Creek. This is a team we know a lot about, Gary, but what we don't know a lot about is the freshman, Kennedy Christopher. As we mentioned, we talked about some of the JS Online Players of the Year nominees.
This is insane.
There's only one freshman, and it's Kennedy Christopher. To add a player like Kennedy to go along with Riley Gridzelanek, who was out for a little bit and is now back. I mean, they are rolling. We say it about all these teams that are getting there, but this team is finding its groove, and they've just been cruising right now. Big hit from Emma Schmidt, game-winning hit.
Yes.
Over Kenosha Bradford, the winning in 8.
Scored
another
Sierra
team,
Kilborn. Sierra Kilborn is one of
Yep.
the fastest kids in the Southeast Conference, if not Milwaukee area. She has speed to burn.
Yeah, that's the 5 seed with the 4 seed Arrowhead. This might be the early day matchup on Thursday. This could be the one that everybody's paying attention to. This 5-4 matchup. I mean, these are 2 evenly matched teams. 2 exciting teams, Riley Grizzlanek going to Northwestern. On the flip side for Arrowhead, Jackie Showalter, 16 home runs on the season. To put that in perspective, they played 28 games, 16 home runs. If a major league player was to homer that often, they'd hit about 85 home runs.
Wait, we don't call her Showtime for nothing.
Exactly. She is the Badger commit. She is going to be ready for this. What a great matchup of Northwestern versus Wisconsin in that 5-4 matchup. Arrowhead, 2-1 in 8 innings, beating Watertown. That was a tough one, Gary. You know how we feel about those Goslings of Watertown.
I do.
They were right there on the cusp and just couldn't pull through. And that was the unfortunate part for them.
Alex Johnson, Drew Hendricks, Abby Walsh. the freshman, the Craig, the freshman kid. I mean, Piplinski. I mean, they're just great kids. And we got to give a shout out to Coach Jansen. She's actually retiring from Watertown after many years of running that program. So Jansen, you really did a great job. You should be proud of what you've accomplished at Watertown. And guess what? A lot of those kids are back next year, and don't be surprised to see them advance to maybe Goodman next year.
So that's our 5-4, the 6-3 matchup. We already touched on Sun Prairie East, Sunny P. They're rolling, but they've got a matchup with Oshkosh West. As we mentioned, the 2-1 win over Watertown. They've allowed 1 run in the playoffs. So their pitching is their strength. Braylee Jordarski, the junior, she's had a nice season with 6 homers, 36 RBIs. But the 6-3 matchup, this is another one. Keep an eye on. This is another one where that lower seed, just because they're a 6 by their name, doesn't mean they can't come out and win. Oshkosh West, they might be a little nervous on this one. They got the 3 seed, so they feel good.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's a maybe. It's definitely a maybe.
I really like Bougie.
They're up to the challenge.
I really like Bougie at Oshkosh West, Ed. She's one of those kids that she doesn't get too high and doesn't get too low. Just kind of rides in the middle of the road and keeps her wits about her. I got to see her play in that doubleheader against Beaver Dam. She was so solid on the circle against a pretty good hitting Beaver Dam team. So when I tell them not to look past Sun Prairie, I'm not. There's no disrespect for Oshkosh West. I mean, they're a great program. They're a great team. They got a lot of really good players on that team, and it would not surprise me at all to see West make a deep run in the state tournament. I really like the makeup and the chemistry on that team.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Bougie's only allowed the 1 run and on this run to state, so she's feeling good. She's at her peak right now, and going against a high-power offense like Sun Prairie East, that's how you shut it down, is get that pitcher in the circle, and if they're hot, look out. All it takes is ride that arm all the way to the top.
Yeah, Kurt,
so that's
agree
a
with
6-3
you.
matchup.
So Kurt Sadowska chiming in. Bougie's the most underrated pitcher in the state. I agree. Hey, Kurt, your kid's a pretty good pitcher in her own right from West. So props to her as well. She made a catch that almost took her head off in that Beaver Dam doubleheader. I mean, it was a rocket right up the middle, and she nabbed it. But yeah, Bougie and Sadowska both good pitchers. And again, keep an eye on Oshkosh West. Sorry, Ed, go ahead.
No, nothing wrong with that. Superior, the number 2 seed. They had to beat a very tough Spash team just to get here. The ball never left the infield to win. It was a walk, an infield single, a sacrifice, an intentional walk, and then a ball deep in the hole at short. And that's how they scored their 1 run of the game. The ball never left the infield. Nothing was hit very hard. And yet they're going to state 25-0, and they got the 2 seed. They'll take on the Phoenix of Menominee Falls. But it all starts right in that circle, and it's that theme that we talked about when we first came on air. The theme of the circle, Haley Zembo. How's this for numbers? 112 innings, 214 strikeouts, an ERA of .25. Video game numbers.
Well, and by the way, I mean, there's no good pitcher without a great catcher, and they have, one of the best in the state. She originally committed to Wisconsin. She's now going to Northwestern to catch for Riley Gredzelanek. So that's Emma Ray. So Emma Ray, a fantastic hitter and a great catcher, of course. That they're going to be fun to watch. And again, I think, it's weird they're the number 2 seed, but I think, when you look across the field, I mean, they're almost like under the radar. Partly is because of the geography of where they are. But
no doubt.
I expect them to come out and compete. They did last year. They did great. They lost, I believe, to Sun Prairie in the semifinals last year, if I recall.
Yep.
But I expect them to do well.
Well, and they beat a Spash team that is very, very talented. So to get this far and to be 25-0, they've earned it. They're not just sliding in here. They are a very strong team. And then number 1, we talked about Waterford and how great it's been for them and how fun it's been for them. And I talked to Coach Krieger today and how excited he is for that group. I don't know.
What do you say?
78 in a row. The best thing I heard about Kokani is they are a great travel team, and it's a high school team. I mean, that alone, that kind of puts it in perspective how good this team is. This is a great travel team that, oh, by the way, they all go to the same school. They've won 78 in a row. They're looking for a three-peat. Carly Meredith in the circle. Keep hammering that team. 19 innings.
Unreal.
2 no-hitters, 36 strikeouts, 0 earned runs in this run to the state. 78 games in a row, and it's going to be tough, but they're looking at getting to 81 and hoisting the gold ball again, and everything holds chalk. It's going to be tough to beat them. It's going to be really tough to beat them.
I would agree. I'd give a shout out to my buddy Taryn Christopher from Kaukauna.
Yep.
Connor,
I know how much you love her.
I do. Connor, you got to see Kaukauna.
We got a chance to do their game last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Connor, talk to me about what you saw from this Kaukauna team when you were up there and did that game a couple weeks ago.
Well, so you want to know how to beat Kaukauna, you got to scroll back through the social media. We got the inside digs. Any one of those other 7 teams that's down there in Madison, find out where they're staying. You got to break in. You got to steal. You got to steal their their barnyard animals. They
That's
got a
right.
whole bunch of them. If you can steal them away, you're gonna give yourself a chance. But if you can't steal them away, the big thing is you have to keep them off the bases, because it is. The state track meet was this weekend, or was it this past weekend? But it's going to be on replay Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Goodman Diamond, because Kaukauna gets walked, and it's not one base, it's 2.
Yeah.
A
3.
single
It's
is
3.
a single. They're thinking 2 or 3 out of the box. They're just all great athletes, phenomenal athletes, and they don't. They don't take anything for granted. They're not going to give you anything easy.
Yeah,
Connor's
no,
exactly
agree.
right, Gary. Every team at state should watch Kaukauna run the bases. I mean, it is a clinic. This should be on video. It is clinical how impressive they are on the bases. They're next level. I mean, you talk about the 5 tools of hitting and running. They have that 6th tool, which is the game and understanding it. And they can go a ground ball to second, they'll go first to third. That doesn't happen normally, but they are so fast, and they just have that. We're going, and dare you to throw it. And they get thrown out every now and again, but how many times does a throw get by a defender, and it leads to more bases, or you throw to that next base, and then they're moving up another one? It's just nonstop pressure, and that's the hardest part. And you can't prepare for it. You cannot prepare for that. And it's so impressive to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that nonstop pressure, and it's not even the fact of, it's a slow roller, which should be a routine play, ground ball to the second baseman, field it, flip it over to first. But because they're so fast, they're looking to take extra bases. That slow roller now gets booted into the outfield, and then there they are standing on third. They put so much, like you said, Ed, they put so much pressure on you that you almost feel like you have to play a flawless game, because you cannot give them the continuous extra outs.
And it's funny you say that, Connor, because
you're right.
To me,
you're exactly right.
To me, Kaukana's a lot like the 96 through 2000 Yankees in baseball, in that they won a lot of the games before the game even started. I mean, because everybody was staring at the pinstripes and looking at Jeter. And I mean, when you watch Kaukauna come on the field, I mean, it's impossible to take your eyes off them. I mean, they're all athletes. Everything is tucked in and buttoned up, and they look like a professional ball team when they come on the field, and I think that's intimidating to people. And I think, Connor, what you said is right. I think they get in people's heads before the game has started. If you watch their warm-ups, it's like watching the Brewers do batting practice. I mean, you got like 19 stations with the balls all going at once. Everybody knows where it's going. Everybody knows what they're doing. The other team come out and they're like, hitting like 2 balls. They're like, that's it? I mean, people are just mesmerized watching this Kaukauna team come and warm up, and then the game starts, and then it really goes. But I just could not be more impressed with the program and with the kids there, because I don't care who you are. 78 games in a row when everybody's got a target on your back. You got to have an off day. I mean, you just have to. And it's not like they play in the Poduncle conference. They're in the FVA, for crying out loud.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. The FVA a little more middle of the road this year in terms of that middle, the middle of the conference kind of beat up on each other. But you have to go back to the last 2 years when you include that 78-game win
Yes.
streak, and the Hortonvilles, the Ninas, Kimberleys have been very good. It's just amazing. And Oshkosh West over the years. So I mean, it's battle tested year in and year out.
I mean, Brooke
And then
Elstead played for
obviously you
Kimberly
throw
then.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you're
And
talking
then,
about the
and
best
then
players.
obviously two trips to state. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, you're
Mm-hmm.
right on. To win 78 games in a row is one thing, but to win it in that conference, when you're talking about, some of the best players, in the state that have gone through there, and yeah, it's not what it was last year and the year before, but I mean, that's high school sports. I mean, everybody's up and down, one year to the next. But okay, Ed, time to pony up here. What do you got for your predictions here in D1?
Well, game number 1 on Thursday, Superior versus Falls. I love Coach Lou, you know that, but
Yep.
it's tough to go on Superior. I think Falls will give them a push, but I really like the way Superior is playing right now. It's hard to go against them, so I'm going to stick with the 2 seed. Game number 2 is Oshkosh West, Sun Prairie East. Going to take a deep breath here, Gary. Connor, I'm going to take Sun Prairie East. They have been there. They know how this plays out. It's this. I'm excited for this game. I can't wait to listen to it. But I'm going to take the upset there. I'm going to go with the 6 seed, Sun Prairie East. Game number 3, Kaukauna, Waterford. I love you, Ryan. We've known each other for many years, but I'm sorry, these ghosts are rolling. And
Yeah.
I'm taking Kaukauna. And then the fun one, I think, the conclusion of the Division I games, Arrowhead, Oak Creek. I think
That's
this
a
is going to be a
pick'em.
back and forth game. It really is a pick'em, and I think it's just going to come down to the team. How about this? The first team to 5. I don't know who that'll be, but I don't think it's going to be that pitcher's duel that people anticipate. I think it's going to be more of an offensive game, and I think it's going to be whoever can get to 5. I won't say who wins that game because it's not going to matter because they're going to play Kaukauna their next game.
Yeah, I think
So-
if that holds
so-
true, that's advantage Arrowhead. By the way, if what you're saying holds true, I think it's advantage Arrowhead.
Sure. I think you're right. I do believe that. But I'm going to stick with it. I think if you can get to 5, I think you win that game. But I think you're right. I think advantage Arrowhead for that. Otherwise, your game 1 and 2 on Friday, the winners, Superior, Sun Prairie East. Again, I'm going to go with that 6 seed. I'm sticking with it. I really feel like they've been there. They know how this plays out. They know what's to be expected. And I think they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder as a 6 seed.
So you're taking Sun
Thoughts?
Prairie East over Oshkosh West? Is that what you're saying?
Superior.
Or over Superior? I mean,
Over Oshkosh West and Superior, correct.
wow. So what you're saying, if I'm reading this right, is it's Sun Prairie East
You
and
are.
Kaukauna, which is a rematch of last year's state
Yep,
championship
of a year
game
ago.
when it was Sun Prairie versus Kaukauna.
Yes, correct.
Nice. T-Bakes, you're getting the
why
love
not?
tonight, kiddo. I'll tell you what. David
No, it
Heath
should be
gave you a big
exciting.
boo, Ed. Heath is
I know.
Heath is booing you from the cheap seats.
And rightfully so. I get it. We haven't seen enough of these. Obviously, it's just a crapshoot.
It is.
And the excitement of it all is going to be for all of us. We can't wait to, as the 3 of us, we get to bring you those games. We're excited for it. Obviously we want our predictions to be correct, but if they're wrong, that's okay too, because these are such great teams and great programs with great families and players and coaching staffs. And, I'm just excited for it. And I wish I could be there on Thursday. I can't, which is the unfortunate part, but I'm excited just to listen to you guys call these games and to see this all play out, regardless of how it ends up. The excitement of it all is if somebody does knock off Kaukauna, that alone, say Waterford pulls it off, they're done. They don't have to show up on Thursday or on Friday. They've done it.
Right.
It's over. You just stopped 78 in a row. You don't have to show up on Friday. I mean,
You get the
you
day
probably
off.
should. You probably should, but
You do
how
the George.
fantastic would that be?
You do the George Costanza checkout. That's it for me.
Exactly. Leave it on a high note. Leave them wanting more.
Right. And
But
to your point,
again,
Ed,
this
you're
is
saying
exciting.
you're saying, we hope we're right. The only thing I like more about us being right is us being wrong. And I love it when the kids
Absolutely.
come up and say, hey, we showed you that we
Yeah.
could do it. I love that. I love seeing the kids get fired up like that. So we love being
Yeah.
right, but we really love being wrong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on, Coach Lou. Let's go. Get those Phoenix ready to go. And they'll be ready at 8 a.m. on Thursday.
Absolutely.
Most people will still have sleep in their eyes. Not gonna have any falls. They might run there.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, really good point. 2 teams at state from the FVA this year shows how much competition there is. So couldn't agree more. I mean, it's we said it in basketball, we said it in softball. I mean, it's the gold standard right now for girls athletics. I don't know on the boys side. I have I don't even want to go there because I have no idea. But on the girls side, the FVA is the gold standard for sports.
Yep.
Okay, so I believe that's going to do it. The next step is 2 things. So number one, first of all, thanks to Ed and Connor for joining us tonight and being part of this this preview show. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We love talking softball. It's great to call the games, but it's really great to just interact with you guys. And this is why I kept saying about, put some comments in, because it's more fun when you guys are involved with it too, and we can all kind of go back and forth on things. And, people brought up facts I didn't know about, like with the Broadhead facts. So, hey, we love it when you guys are involved with us, and we all we're all a bunch of softball nerds, just, talking ball and just excited for Thursday. And I can tell you, our crew is super excited to bring every state softball tournament to you live on W7 radio. So don't be confused. We're still going to do it on YouTube and on Facebook like we always do, except it'll just be an audio stream. We'll have a static page up that'll just show, hey, this is what the game is, and maybe the score as well. But 99% of it's going to be audio. But again, I think we can do a pretty good job of describing the action and bringing it to you live. And again, it gives you guys one place to go to for all the games. I know all of Saturday's games are going to be on TV. I don't know if it's FS1 or on Valley Sports or what. I don't know. But I do know that Michelle Griffin Wenzel will be will be calling those games. I suggest turning her way down and then turning us way up. I'm kidding. Michelle's a great friend of ours. It's all
You're
out of
only
love.
half kidding.
No.
But yeah,
Well,
she's definitely one of
we
our
always want people to
favorites,
listen to us,
but
but she's fantastic.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us tonight. Again, all the action going to be starting Thursday at 8 in the morning. Connor and I will be there all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday. I think we're going to get Ed for sure Saturday and maybe some on Friday too, depending how things go. But we're looking forward to bringing it to you. Again, one last call for, if you want to help us out, it's going to be about a $2,000 fee for us to live stream these games. I'm doing it no matter what. So we're gonna fund it ourselves no matter what. But we'd love to get a couple sponsors on board to help us with the funding on it. If you're interested in helping us out and being part of this, I promise you, we'll make sure that we promote you guys and advertise you for as much as you want during these 3 days. But it would really help us out as far as the funding goes. So info@productionsw7.com. Shoot me an email or DM me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Happy to interact that way as well. And I can give you my number. We could talk live or whatever you want to do. But we would sure appreciate any support you want to give us. Even if you want to just make a donation instead, you can just do it right from our website, productionsw7.com. There's a donate button right there. Again, love any support that you guys can help give us. We do it for the girls. We also do it because we love softball. And, we're not ready for the season to end yet, right, guys? I mean, we could go a few more days yet.
We can. If you own a sunscreen company and you want to donate suntan lotion, that's great. It's going to be like Goodman Diamond it's going to be 90 degrees and sunny for 15 hours. So we'll take that as well.
Yeah. So Pat and Melissa, we know you guys really well from Belle Plaine, Minnesota. That's Cora Nelson's aunt and uncle from Belle Plaine, always checking in, and appreciate your guys' support. And go Michicot. Yeah, we're obviously lots of love for Michicot and all these teams. Girls, when you win, come over and say hello. We'll get you on a headset. We'll talk softball. We're going to get a big board up so you can slap your team's name on, advance into the finals. But come over and see us. I don't know exactly where we're going to be yet. The WIAA is working on that with the folks at UW-Madison, because we're going to be there for 3 days. I want to make sure that we're not in the way of other media companies trying to do their thing, because we're just going to camp wherever we can and just stay there the whole time. So look forward to that. All the games coming this week. Look for state softball trivia coming this week. We have no games, obviously, so and no graduations. Whew, done with those. So look for trivia coming this week, just on the state tournament. And again, as always, we appreciate your guys' support. Connor, Ed, thanks you guys for joining. One last break, but then we're going to close it out. We're going to close it out from here right now. You've been watching the state softball tournament preview show on W7. For Connor DuBois, for Ed Rowley, I'm Gary Whipperman. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And guys, as we know, everything we do, always, always, always for the girls.
For the girls.
For the girls.
All right. Have a great night, you guys. We'll see you Thursday.